Oh my goodness. How is everybody doing today? We are back for another exciting beta read. Oh my goodness. This should be awesome. Okay, so yeah, we did one yesterday that was pretty fun. A children's book, and it looks like today we got number two on the channel, the second children's book we're doing here. So, with that being said, let's just get some plugs out the way. Like, subscribe, smash the buttons, all the buttons, smash them all. Okay, and here is some books for y'all. Go ahead, feel free to pick these up, give it that young 5-star, and thank you so much for doing that earlier. Not every star in the night, oh my goodness. Second book, wow. Bright Dreadful Sun, wonderful. Oh my goodness, kind of scary. These books are really scary. And of course, the Yamikage, my first book. But we're not here to talk about my books, people. We are here to talk about your books. Oh my Lanta. So, yeah, real quickly, as usual, a little bit about myself. 4-time published author, ghostwriter, beta reader, editor now, and ladies and gentlemen, we are in the works. We are in the works of starting a publishing company. This should be amazing. Oh my goodness. But yeah, with that being said, I am so flooded with orders. I'm drowning in orders. This is crazy. Definitely the busiest month over here by far. I think we've done $700 something within the past 2 weeks. So with that being said, we're not going to talk about that. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this awesome book. Real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to, one second, Tanmoy from yesterday, which was pretty awesome. And of course, Duchess. And I have a feeling that her actual name is Ashley Blaine, of course. So the video from yesterday and this book, I believe, are already published. So with that being said, is this a beta read? No, it's not a beta read. It's more kind of like a review or something. And if you guys see me lagging, I don't know why I am lagging. Yesterday I was not lagging. But when I export the videos, I notice that I'm not lagging. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So we're critiquing a children's book. Now, as I mentioned to the gentleman yesterday, pretty interesting. He just luckily got me. I'm a double psychology major with a licensure. So with that being said, I specialize in human developmental psychology as well as human psychology. So what do we do with children's books? What is the point of a children's book? Erikson's psychosocial stages of development. Children are unusual two psychosocial stages. They're either in trust versus mistrust, where they're learning to basically trust their parents, trust the people in charge of them, etc., etc. That is the early age where they're learning this stuff. And next we got industry versus inferiority, which is definitely the demographic here. Well, actually, the main demographic for children's books is actually their parents. But anyways, yeah, so industry versus inferiority. That's the psychosocial stage, according to Erikson, where a child is learning to be industrious. So this is the key to children's books. It is making them industrious, giving them a lesson and helping them out a little bit. So anyways, yeah, that's exactly it. Okay. Oh, to be a banana. Interesting. So I'm very excited for this. Banana is tasty. Very good. Potassium. Who doesn't love potassium? Let's scroll up a little bit. Oh, and by the way, my screen is over here. So I noticed that there's a picture of a bunch of bananas. Oh, there's that lag. It's going slow. Go damn, Mr. Banana. Oh my goodness. So we got a bunch of bananas, literally a bunch. That's a bunch of bananas. So illustrated, wow, great illustrations. It's not easy to draw things yourself, okay, and then just put it right on paper. That's not always easy. A lot of times during the illustrations, they go through a lot of different processes. Sometimes you could have people edit it. Sometimes you could have conceptualization, and then that kind of elevates. Oh, let's zoom in a little bit. We are at 90. We should be at 100%, people. 100% zoom, not 90% zoom. Because what I want to do is I want to check out this dedication page. Very interesting. So, wow, cool. Dedication page. Really nice. To her children, wonderful, beautiful. Now, I usually recommend recommend dedication pages right there in the center, as well as italicized. But, of course, that's not a rule. There's very little rules in art. Definitely a lot of fundamentals. What I noticed here, editor, if you can see it, let me try to put, you can't. If you look here, really small mistake, very small mistake. I'm glad I caught it. If you look there at the bottom of the copyright, there's a apostrophe after O, but in the title page, it's not there. Wait, no, never mind. Yeah, it is. Sorry, it's dying. Okay, well, I'm glad I caught it. Never mind. That would have been a funny blunder. So, yeah. There it is. You see that one right there? I thought that was a thing on my screen right next to the H. Okay, well, let's keep on moving. So, first line, first paragraph, first chapter, first page. Hot spots. Great prime real estate for writing. So, we got to make sure these areas are elevated. So with children's book, it really leans heavily on illustrations because that's how a lot of children learn. As we know, like I said in the video yesterday, their subconscious mind, as they're younger, usually has almost an equal, if not more whole, kind of thing on the wheel there in their brains. So with that being said, illustrations, tried and true. Oh, to be a banana. I would elevate that first sentence. We're used to critiquing very, very large novels on this channel. Very large, 80,000 words, etc., etc. So we're approaching this I'm approaching these from a psychological perspective as well. So let's see. I'm also going to put the regular advice I would normally give people. I would elevate this first sentence, get some imagery in there, she's got emotion. It really is hard work to make my way to you. So that is a tell, not a show. A tell, not a show. We want to show, not a tell. Get that imagery in there, really kind of portray things. One thing I would love to see in this novel, too, is sensory detail. Sensory detail, of course, we know we got hearing, smelling, but taste and smell might be very, very advantageous to us in a novel where bananas are the star of the show. This also seems like it has some of a poetic aspect. And last week, we did 2 poetry books. So, I thought it was kind of funny because the poetry in the book from yesterday was really well constructed with those monorhymes. And then the poetry book from the other day was really all over the place. Or last week was a lot of all over the place. So I'm hoping if there's rhyming here, it's totally A-okay. It's really hard to make my way to you. Yeah, that's a tell, not show. Oh, to be a banana. Repetition, the mind love repetition. So that's good. Oh, to be a banana, to have the perfect shaped with the perfect curl and the brightest yellow skin. Pretty interesting is in Spanish culture, there is a green banana and they call that platano. Very healthy, very healthy. So what they do is they take the peels off and then they smush the banana into almost like a pancake. And then, so those bananas are not yellow. They're not yellow, they're green. But what do we got over here? We got trash. What does the trash have to do with anything? Colors. Children love colors. Colors is a big thing. So maybe for future reference, really get those variation of color in there. Okay, keep on moving. What do we have here? We have 40 pages. We're going to definitely try to keep this under 30 minutes. These videos have been having a habit of getting to 40, but yesterday was 20 minutes. So let's make sure it's due diligent here before we can even make it to the grocery store. 6 out of 10 of my banana friends are thrown away simply because they look different. Yeah, you know what? Food waste is a big problem in this society. Now, so we're using first person perspective here, utilizing first person. So who is the narrator? Okay, who is that main character? Usually when people are in third person limited, that is when the narrator has a large over-encompassing, but also they have narrator opinions. So we have first person perspective here because he's talking about my friends. So even makes him to go 6 to 10 out of my banana friends. So let's, I'm critiquing this from one of those normal big novel standpoints. I'm going to throw those in there, but just, it's cool because maybe the author might want to write a bigger novel one day. You never know. But okay. So, but I made it. I'm on my way to the grocery store now. Maybe you could go back to kind of describe that process of getting from A to B. Maybe you could talk about how the banana was once in a tree. I miss my life as a tree on the tree where the wind is blowing through my peel. That's great sensory detail. So ready to be bought and brought home to you. Okay, so what do we got here? We got a truck, and it's bringing the bananas. Banana, B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Sketches are good. What I would recommend for these sketches, I would recommend getting a nice, beautiful sketch down like we have right here seen on the screen. Then I would recommend sending it out to maybe 1 or 2 other illustrators. One to really highlight, get that contrast in there, as well as the HDR, high definition resolution. And then I would also hire a second one to really kind of add some realism to it. Unless you can find one that's really, really good at both. Okay. Just kind of example there. For example, Dr. Seuss, very similar to that, where he'll take his own illustrations and then he got a whole team. There's a whole team of people working on those illustrations. So nowadays, the process is streamlined. Anyways, at the grocery store, people pass me by. That is a tell, not show. I would rather see showing, not telling. That's what we want to do in literature. We want to present an imagery. We want to present picture. So when we're saying this is it, also we're at the setting here, grocery store. If you wanted to, you could elevate the setting. Like I said, this is a children's book, so we're not really getting to that big stuff. But sometimes they pick me up, and I must be careful that they don't drop or bruise me. That's true. Ouchie, ouchie. Poor bananas. So I'm wondering what I'm looking for here, especially in children's book. I'm looking for how this can help a child become more industrious. That is the number one thing I'm looking for. Because, of course, we're commenting on like plot structure and whatnot. So, yeah, let's check this out. The core message should be, how can my child learn from this? For if they drop me and my yellow skin darkens, I would surely be throwaway. Left the trash. I have so many bruised bananas upstairs. There's usually just like a bunch of bruised bananas in my kitchen. And I'm just like, I'm not going to eat that. But then I feel bad because I'm like, if I don't eat it, it's going to even go more bad. Maybe I'll slip on the peel. Okay, so we got a bunch of bananas. Bananas are good. Really, I would really emphasize that color. Kids love pop-out colors. And the occipital lobe, which is the lobe in the back. Pretty interesting. It controls vision. It's the visual cortex of the brain is right here back. So the eyes, they take in the information, goes through the center, and then it goes to the occipital lobe right in the back, which is the vision center of the brain. In a child, that's still developing. So the way they actually see is a little bit different than an adult sees. They're probably more vivid a little bit. I don't know. I don't remember. But I know they're still developing their brains. So bright colors, really sensory detail, get it all in there. Oh, to be bad, I have lived here for days now. Freckles now cover my yellow skin. Those little brown spots staring away from me. Okay, so we got the main character. We're going to look for character development. That's what I'm going to be looking for as well. Or rather, I would if this was a full-body novel. It's a children's book. So like I said, I'm focusing on the psychological aspect. They think I taste different. Okay, taste is sensory detail. That's good. Taste, sensory detail. These are words that trigger the neurological process in the brain. Like there's certain words that we register, and within milliseconds we kind of like really kind of bring that back, especially during the theta state, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what's this kid doing? Oh my god. He's like, I don't want to eat no banana. Oh, what is that, porridge? I don't know. Oh my goodness. All right, what the? Okay, I see someone coming up. It looks like they are about to pick me up, and there I am. There you are. So addressing the audience directly, I am a bit worried, I admit. See, literally what I was about to get into. So readers, especially in these big novels, when they sit down and read, they enter what is called a theta state of mind. It's where the subconscious can absorb a little bit more information unbiasedly. So with that being said, the subconscious absorbs unbiasedly nonetheless. So what do we see here that I would recommend changing? I am a bit worried, I admit. I would put no negativity in this book. Zero negativity. Any connotation of negative, I would take it out. I would take out these key words. Worried, I would reformat that to take the worried out. Okay. And we see a child here looking very melancholy. Or rather, kind of, this kid's like, I don't want that banana. I don't want bananas. I don't want vegetables. I want pizza. Maybe the next one, I don't know, maybe some pizza. Italics, stylizing. We like how people stylize. Italics are utilized to show internal dialogue as well as just for fun stylizing. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Will you pass me by? Will you judge me as many? Like I would take judge out. I would really focus on the positivity. We want industry because what is industry versus inferiority? So inferiority is basically when a child is growing up in a negative environment or really flooded with negative things. I'm not saying this book is. No, absolutely not. I think generally it's a really positive and fun. But just overall from the psychological perspective, inferiority, what it does is basically if a child goes through this stage and hits their teenage years, leading on the inferiority stage, they're going to go through role confusion. And it's basically ego identity versus role confusion. So if you're, let's say, author, if you were to write a book directed at teenagers, you would want to basically take the goal, like here in a child book, to make industry, and you would take the goal and turn that into ego identity, helping the teenager find out, about themselves a little bit, what they want to do in the future, passions. Anyways, moving on. You saw the past, the blemishes. Oh, see, that's sweet. So I think the overall encompassing message is going to be like, oh, people love me. Oh my goodness. This kid he's like, I'm hungry for bananas. And then this lady is like praying to God. Oh, that's a lady. That girl is like, thank you so much for the bananas. Oh my goodness. So you place me in your basket. Not a day too soon. There's a lot of telling. I would focus on imagery. Like I was saying in the video yesterday, green eggs and ham. It's all about imagery. That's why that book is just A-okay. Dr. Seuss is definitely my big reference point here. Focus on that imagery as well. So grocery store, that's a setting. The setting could be elevated, but at the same time, we don't want kids don't read text-only novels. So, mostly they don't. Young kids don't do that. Now they play video games. Why do they play video games? That's all beautiful and colory, and that's where we're going nowadays. So I don't know. What are we gonna do about that? I don't know. I'm on my way home. I wonder what I will become there. So many possibilities. Eating just I am. Made into pancakes. Blended into ice cream. That sounds good. Okay, for a split second, I don't know if you ever seen one of those movies where somebody's got a trench coat and they're selling watches. I thought for a second the kid was like selling bananas. Yeah, I got your bananas over here. Oh, to be a banana. Oh, to have made it when so many have not. Oh, and in case you haven't noticed, my screen is also here. I got a few screens. I made it. I made it home to you. Oh, so that's the hero of the story as well. We got the one that's gonna eat the banana here. It looks pretty excited. So like I said, here's something I even saw yesterday is what you could do is you could take your illustrations and run it through artificial intelligence programs, AI imagery. So what the AI will do is basically they'll do what the person you would hire to do, but free. And that's it. There's no resolution. There's no falling action. So this is the climax. This is a children's book. Not too much something to really crazy worry about, but right here a lot of authors have this problem too. Just definitely not in this genre. This genre is definitely a lot more lenient. It's like 100% lenient. But let's say if this was an actual full body novel, what I would say is, a lot of authors have this issue where they stop at the climax. You don't want to do that. You want to alleviate and you want to leave room for the falling action, and you want a nice resolution. So I made it home to you. Clearly this image here is a climactic moment. I would like to see some falling action. Maybe the kid now gets some dialogue and he's like, yummy, bananas are healthy. You know what I mean? That's another thing too, is how did this children's book help a child become more industrious? So what this book is focusing on is entertainment. It doesn't have those deep central messages. That's going to get lost in translation. So what we may be trying to portray to a child, they're not going to register it the same way. Note from the author. Let's see. Great author, by the way. Definitely has a knack. I feel like parents are definitely great children's writers. Now, I'm not sure if Dr. Seuss had a family. I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I was under the impression that Dr. Seuss was actually a dark character. Anyways, a note from author. The following pages are good discussion point for you to introduce the concept of food. Thank you. Okay, there's these. See, look at the contrast between that simplicity and now we got these big central core themes. That is something a child is probably not going to understand. And I would also kind of, what's the word here? Really get that in there in a way they can understand. Maybe put the faces on the banana. Like, I'm sorry. When reading to young audience, please gauge their maturity level and able to understand the concepts of choosing to share or not to share the following pages. Okay, I would include this either way. Either way, I would include this, and it's up to the author to basically put it in a way that's translatable. Like I said, I would focus on industry versus inferiority. What we're focusing on here is entertainment and the central core message, which is food waste, which I agree with. Now, kids are famous for wasting food. I don't want that, So with that being said, I feel like a central core message like this may be lost in translation a little bit, but at the same time, maybe a kid reads this and then they go, this is a big problem as they grow up. Greta Thunberg is a good example of that. Like, maybe you can inspire the next Greta, the Greta Thunberg of the food waste. After harvest, almost 60% of bananas are throwaway. Like this, I would put in a format that a child can understand. I would not say, okay, gauge the maturity level. I would put it in there in a way they can understand. When bananas throw away, about the world, one film. I love how the author is actually kind of putting a real big issue. Now, is it going to translate? That's the thing. Now, is the industry, there's certain things in here that I would definitely recommend changing. I like the book from yesterday as well because it has that focus on industry. It has the focus on how to lift a child up in a way they understand. Now, this book, really good, pretty interesting. I love the illustrations. I love some of the messages here. What would I change is look for negative words. Anything with even slight negative connotation, like worried was in there. Like this word was not in there, but let's say anxious. Anything that is anything negative, I would rip it out of the book. Like we said, the subconscious does not differentiate between the bias. Now there's fairy tales, for example, is a category of fiction where it is a children's book, but most likely the not horrible things happen to them. I don't know, all the fairy tales is like basically they're in trouble. So I think that's pretty interesting. So don't worry about that. But words for this book, because this is more for the trust versus mistrust, getting right into that industry versus inferiority. This is kind of like the threshold a little higher up. Those are more for like middle to young teenagers. People in the grocery store don't want to buy imperfect produce. That's true. That's true. It is believed that they're ugly and fully ripening us. So antioxidants. This is a bit complicated. I like the references. That's very important. You could also put those in your own words. You don't need them. Because this is like kind of like a night and day type of area. I would not put the separation. I wouldn't. I would basically take all this difficult concepts and Einstein. The quote is, if you don't understand it well enough to put it in one sentence, you don't understand it well enough. So I guess you could also translate to this. Find a way to take this difficult concept and put it into the book. Now, I think definitely that was definitely trying to be done. The banana's going to the store. Nobody wants him because he's bruised. And then, the hero of the story, the kid, eats the banana. Yummy. Maybe you could incorporate different parts of that. I told the guy yesterday to put superheroes because superheroes are really good. I mean, you could put Banana Man. No, I'm just kidding. Like fighting food waste. That would be fun. Fighting food waste. Then maybe for future things, maybe you guys could work together on a book. That'd be kind of interesting. The number is the amount of the food that we need to feed 1 to 9 people. That's so sad. Yeah, food waste is a big thing. Like I said, like this end of the book almost seems like something you would see in like a college level. This is like college level work. I've seen when some college papers I've read are not even this neat. So we got a whole night and day thing happening here. For future reference, take these large concepts. I'm not saying dumb them down. That's definitely not the word, but curtail them towards a way a child can understand. That was definitely the point of the book. That's certainly the point of the book. Maybe just kind of portray that a little more directly. These gases, because without all of this, let's say like this part wasn't even here, nobody would be able to tell the point of the story without really looking into it. Certainly a child may not. These gases are extremely bad for our body. It's so true. Like all of this, I would put in those illustrations. I would get that in there. So gauging the maturity level, that's something said. This is something that it's the author's job to really kind of put this in there. Because this right here, this is difficult for even some parents. You know what I mean? Like I've gone to college and I've seen people and their papers aren't even this neat right here. I like this a lot. Especially since you put the references. That shows a level of professionality. Certainly love that. And I think the overall goal for a novel like this is to inspire the next Greta Thunberg, to inspire that, so she does climate change. I don't know what inspired her to do that, but maybe you could create the Greta Thunberg food waste, or rather inspire people. Oh, recipes. I love cooking. For people, ladies and gentlemen, for the channel, in case you're used to the channel, I use music and food as often as these comparisons. You could trademark this recipe also, by the way. You could trademark this recipe. Pretty cool. Maybe you should make a recipe book. You could trademark all these recipes. And as long as they haven't been done this way before. Yummy. I'm not going to comment on the recipe. I want to critique a recipe book. That'd be fun. That'd be really cool. My CPU is at 70%. What is going on? The kid has bananas nose. Banana for nose. See, that's why you got to throw them away. No, I'm just playing. So we got the bunch of bananas, a bunch of good stuff. And there it is. End of the book. Oh, my goodness. So great job, author, and keep on writing, dude. So with that being said, let's kind of do a small recap. Okay, so when you're writing children's book, ladies and gentlemen, focus on industry and avoid inferiority. This novel does a great job of presenting things through subtext. It's got nice illustrations. I would like to see those elevated. Now let's take away everything. Let's take away the illustrations. Let's take away the page breaks, and let's just get like the word count. So the word count. Somebody from a how can I say this? From a literary perspective, an author, just me or somebody else that doesn't write children's book, they could write this in less than an hour, just from a literary perspective. Maybe even less. Like something like this could be written like 30 minutes. So what does that mean? That basically means it's good to focus on industry, the core central message. And illustrations are so important. So in children's book, what takes that is in place of the illustrations. So with that being said, the literature and the illustrations, they're equal is what I'm trying to say here. They're equal in importance in a way, because children, they don't read text only often. And they also really lean heavily on pictures. Maybe add some relatability factor that might help. Maybe some elevated illustrations. I like how they're sketched. I got a feeling, yeah, the author did these sketches. Good job. Multi-hyphenate, that's really good, really impressive. So, I mean, what you could do is add more bright colors, really bright colors. People love vivid imagery, and children especially, they do that. And that's from a neurological perspective too. Definitely feel free to rewind the video, and I'll focus. I'm going to talk about the occipital lobe and how it develops inside a child. They're very drawn to really bright colors. So the next novel, I would focus on that. But anyways, very good novel. Very excited. Parents out there, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead, pick up this novel for this book. And also at the same time, food waste is a very important thing. I'm glad the author's rallying behind the message. I'm hoping parents will pick this up and also kind of see, this is also, it's not only the author's job either in a children's book. I think it's also part of the parent's job. So what the parent could do is kind of, they could read the end of the book and like kind of said, put it in their own words and really portray it that way. You know, yeah, that's definitely true. So I'm hoping the parents will read about food waste and kind of make it a core central message for the child. Anyways, yeah, take it easy, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe, and keep on writing. Peace. How do I turn it off? Stop recording. All right, peace.